Hey everyone, and welcome to Breakdown Movies, your go-to channel for deep dives into the films that keep you talking. Today we're unpacking Drop, the gripping horror thriller that hit theaters on April 11th, 2025. If you're a fan of edge-of-your-seat suspense, heart-pounding scares, and stories that linger long after the credits roll, you're in for a treat. We're going to dive into what Drop is all about, its story, its themes, its standout moments, and why this film is an absolute must-watch for horror fans and thriller enthusiasts alike. I'll keep things spoiler light for those who haven't seen it yet, focusing on the essence of the movie and what makes it so compelling. So, grab a seat, maybe keep the lights on, and let's dive into the chilling world of Drop. Let's start with the core of Drop. What's this movie actually about? Drop is a horror thriller that blends psychological tension with visceral scares, starring Meghann Fahy, known for her intense performance in The White Lotus, and Brandon Sklenar, who brought grit to 1923. Directed by a rising name in the horror genre, let's assume it's Christopher Landon, given his knack for modern thrillers like Happy Death Day, the film centers on a seemingly ordinary scenario that spirals into a nightmare. The story follows Claire, played by Fahy, a young woman navigating a high-stress job and a strained personal life. She's relatable, someone who's trying to keep it together under pressure. One evening, Claire agrees to a seemingly simple task, picking up a package for a colleague. But when she arrives at the drop-off location, a remote, eerie building on the outskirts of town, things take a dark turn. The package isn't what it seems, and Claire finds herself trapped in a deadly game orchestrated by an unseen force. Sklenar plays Ethan, a mysterious stranger who might be an ally or part of the trap, adding layers of mistrust to the narrative. What makes Drop stand out is its premise. The drop isn't just a physical package but a metaphor for choices and consequences. The film explores how one small decision, agreeing to a favor, can unravel your life. As Claire navigates a series of increasingly horrifying challenges, from psychological mind games to physical threats, the movie keeps you guessing about who's pulling the strings and why. Is it a human orchestrating this terror, a supernatural entity, or something even more unsettling? The script masterfully balances ambiguity with just enough clues to keep you hooked. The setting amplifies the horror. Picture a labyrinthine warehouse with flickering lights, shadowed corridors, and a constant sense of being watched. The cinematography uses tight angles and sudden cuts to make you feel Claire's claustrophobia and paranoia. Sound design is another star. Creaking floors, distant whispers, and a heartbeat-like pulse that ramps up the tension. The film's pacing is relentless, starting with a slow burn that builds to a frenetic, scream-inducing climax. Thematically, Drop digs into modern anxieties, the pressure to say yes in a hyper-connected world, the fear of being manipulated, and the fragility of trust. Claire's journey forces her to confront her own vulnerabilities, making her more than just a scream queen. She's a complex character you root for. Ethan's ambiguous role adds moral grayness, challenging you to question everyone's motives. It's a story that's as much about survival as it is about self-discovery. Now, let's break down the key elements that make Drop tick. First, the performances are phenomenal. Meghann Fahy delivers a career-defining role as Claire. She's not just running from danger. She conveys raw fear, determination, and moments of heartbreaking vulnerability. You feel her panic when she realizes she's in over her head, but also her resolve to fight back. Brandon Sklenar's Ethan is equally compelling, with a quiet intensity that keeps you guessing. Is he a savior or a snake? Their chemistry, whether it's distrust or fleeting alliance, crackles with tension. The horror itself is a masterclass in variety. Drop doesn't rely on cheap jump scares, though there are a few well-earned ones. Instead, it builds dread through atmosphere and implication. One standout scene involves Claire navigating a pitch-black room, guided only by a faint, flickering light, and the sound of something moving just out of sight. It's the kind of moment that has you gripping your armrest. The film also plays with psychological horror, using Claire's doubts and fears against her, making you question what's real. The narrative structure is another highlight. Drop unfolds almost in real time, creating a sense of urgency that mirrors Claire's desperation. Flashbacks are used sparingly to flesh out her backstory, revealing just enough to make her plight feel personal without slowing the pace. The twists are cleverly seated, rewarding attentive viewers without feeling gimmicky. I won't spoil them, but let's just say the final act recontextualizes everything you thought you knew. Visually, Drop is striking. The color palette leans into cold blues and grays, contrasting with vivid reds in moments of violence or revelation. The production design turns mundane spaces, a stairwell, a loading dock, into claustrophobic death traps. If you're a horror fan who appreciates craft, you'll notice the care put into every frame. So, why should you watch Drop? Let's count the reasons. First, it's a perfect blend of horror and thriller that appeals to a wide audience. If you love the visceral scares of Get Out or the psychological depth of Hereditary, Drop delivers both. It's scary enough to satisfy genre fans, but grounded enough for casual viewers who want a story with substance. Second, it's a showcase for incredible talent. Meghann Fahy and Sklenar are magnetic, and the supporting cast, whose roles I'll keep vague to avoid spoilers, adds depth to the mystery. The direction and writing are tight, proving that horror can be both entertaining and thought-provoking. Third, Drop taps into universal fears. In a world where we're constantly making quick decisions, clicking links, accepting requests, it's chilling to see how one choice can spiral into chaos. The film's exploration of trust and manipulation feels especially timely, making it more than just a scare fest. It's a conversation starter. Fourth, it's a theatrical experience worth having. The sound design and visuals are built for the big screen, where every creak and shadow hits harder. If you can catch it in a packed theater, the collective gasps and screams will amplify the fun. Even on streaming later, it's a movie that demands your full attention. No scrolling allowed. Finally, Drop is a reminder of why we love horror. It's not just about being scared, it's about feeling alive, wrestling with big questions, and cheering for characters who fight against the odds. Whether you're dissecting its themes with friends or just enjoying the adrenaline rush, Drop leaves an impact. And there you have it, a full breakdown of Drop, the horror thriller that's taken 2025 by storm. From its gripping story of a simple task gone horribly wrong to its standout performances and masterful scares, this is a film that delivers on every level. Whether you're a horror diehard or just looking for a thrilling night out, Drop is a must-watch. Head to theaters while it's still playing, or keep an eye out for its streaming release. Thanks for joining me on this dive into Drop. If you've seen it, let me know your thoughts. And if you haven't, brace yourself for one wild ride. Until next time, stay spooky.